Afternoon all. Like I said, Lorraine Lambert here from 3 o'clock. Just do 20 minutes of Q&A sessions. I haven't had many questions through, to be honest, and I'm hoping that some pop up, although I am not very good at Facebook Live, as I have never done it before. So hopefully they pop up somehow or something like that. My first Facebook Live was earlier today, and that was quite nerve-wracking in itself. So if I just kick off with a couple of questions that I've already been asked from different people. I've actually got them written down, so I may have to read them off at the same time. I do apologise for that. So the first one I had through was, what was Rio like? Because there was so much bad press at the time. If you remember, cast minds back to 2016, and at the time there was a lot of the Zika virus going around. They were all worried about us going out there. I honestly can say that Paralympics GB couldn't have done any more for us. Not only did they actually get our kit changed, so we went from short sleeves through to long sleeves, and yeah, that was quite a daunting prospect, because we thought we'd be going out there getting the sunshine. But yeah, so that was like one of our major worries, I suppose, going out there. But Paralympics GB were amazing, absolutely amazing. Everything they'd done. I mean, they took out engineers to check out the toilets, things like that. And the Brazilian people were absolutely amazing. If you think they had probably 2,000 plus wheelchairs to move a day, and they were moving them around like they weren't even there. So I'm trying to read the chats at the same time. So I've just had one come through from Liz. Hi Liz, pleased to meet you. The question says, hi Lorraine, how do you motivate yourself to train and practice if you're feeling a bit low on motivation? Now that's a tough one. Everyone has down days, everyone has low days. What I find is that if I've got the motivation, that I know what my end goal is. My end goal is I want to be a Paralympic champion. So that gets me up in the morning. So that gets me to put my leg on. I'm a below knee left leg amputee. Some days my leg's too sore, so that I can't actually wear it. But other days I'm there, I'm on the range for 6 hours a day, and I'm training. I sit down and shoot sometimes as well. So yes, so to motivate myself to get to the range, to shoot, I always think to myself, all I have to do is be 0.1 better today than what I was yesterday. And it's the same philosophy that Adam Peaty uses. If you imagine, he was told in London that how fast he was going to have to be was, he was going to have to be something ridiculous, like a minute faster. And if you think how fast that they swim, that's just a colossal amount. But when you actually break it down, it's only in little tiny increments. So it's only sort of 0.1 millisecond he has to be faster. If he does that every single day, he'll become the champion that he is now. So yeah, big up there for Adam Peaty. He is a bit of a one for me. What he's got and what he's done is just absolutely amazing. So Liz, yeah, I would say that to get motivated is I want to be that next Paralympic champion. So to do that, I have to get up, I have to train, I have to go on my exercise bike, I have to lift weights. All those type of things come into shooting. As you can imagine, it's quite one of those sports where you just have to keep motivated, because we're the opposite of a runner. We have to be as still as possible. So whereas they've got dynamic explosion when they hear the gunfire, I suppose, they get dynamic explosion and they're out the blocks as fast as they can. We're the other side of that. We have to be very calm, very cool, and very collected. We have to make our, whether you saw the video, I showed you the scat trace on it. So the scat comes down like a wiggly line. The wigglier the line, the better, because that shows how slow you're moving. And we're looking at hitting like a pinhead. So if you can imagine 10 meters a pinhead, that's what we're looking at shooting at. So as you can imagine, that's quite a thing in itself. So a full stop, just a little dot on a paper at 10 metres. And at 50 metres, which is my primary event, I shoot outdoors. So we have wind conditions and all sorts to be taken into consideration with it. I'm looking at that what I'm looking at is a quarter of the size of a 5p piece. So if you just think of what a 5p piece, or look at your own nail and it's just quarter of one of those, that's a 10.9. That's what I'm aiming at. So Catherine, what have we got? What's your interest in shooting as a sport? I took part in something called the Limb Power Games. Absolutely an amazing charity. They've been going over 10 years now, and Kira does an amazing job with everyone there. And what they try and do is get everyone into sport. So if you're a new amputee, or someone with limb difference, not necessarily an amputee, you could have been born with one arm, you could have been born with one leg, you know, these things happen. But they try and get everyone involved in a sport. It's very similar to what Limb Power do for people that use wheelchairs. And they just try and get everyone into a sport. It could be anything. It could be from archery, shooting, right up to dancing, because that's one of the new things that they're doing, which is fantastic to watch and see. I've got plenty of friends that have come through and took up badminton and all sorts. It doesn't have to be at a Paralympic level. It doesn't have to be as high as that. It could just be a sport that you want to have a go at. And they will try their utmost to get it in there. Over a weekend, you go up to Stoke Mandeville, take part in lots and lots of different sports. And from that moment, there you are. And something could happen like it did to me. For me, it was a case of I picked up a gun for the first time in a long, long time from being a cadet, and it just felt natural, and I loaded it, and I shot it, and I shot a 10.9, which is right in the middle. And lo and behold, to me, at the back of the range was what was the current Paralympic senior instructor. And he was the manager of the Paralympic team, and he said, "Is this something that you'd be interested in?" I was like, "Well, I'll give it a go. Why not?" And that was in the May 2010, after I'd had my leg off in the January 2010. But by the January 2011, I needed to get a passport because they wanted me to go and compete away. So there I was, flying off to Turkey for my very first international competition with the likes of Deanna Coates and Mandy Pankhurst. I was in a team with them too, and we won a medal, and it was just an amazing experience to come away with a big trophy for a team event. It's just something I'd never thought would ever happen to me, and it did, and I was just so elated by it. And I thought, actually, I could actually be quite good at this if I try hard enough. And I'd set my goal on London, but it didn't happen for me. So I sort of took stock, and our physio at the time, Jo, I sat with her and sat with my coach and just said, right, what have I got to do now to be in Rio? What do we have to do? So I made lots of little stepping stones. This competition I need to be at, this one I need to be at. I need scores like this or like that. And it just slowly took off, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing to be part of the team, and it still is. We're such a good tight-knit team, it's just unbelievable really. For people that compete against each other for a lot of the time, we do get on really well, and like most evenings we'll have a game of darts or play cards, or you know, anything really, just a chat, which is great. Hi Mohammed, pleased that you could join us. Next one, Stacey, how are you coping with lockdown? Do you have a good network of friends and family around you? Yes, I do. Amazing friends and family that live very close to me, as well as the likes of modern technology, like doing this today. Zoom, we've done many a Zoom quiz, obviously, especially with the older populations that we've got in our family. So we've set it all up so they can all take part in like a Facebook quiz or Zoom quiz on a Saturday afternoon, evening, which has been quite good fun, and it means that all the kids can get involved as well. And yeah, coping with lockdown, well, it's been struggle, hasn't it, guys? And let's face it, it's not been an easy thing. We've all got homes that we love and cherish, But sometimes you just want to get out. Sometimes you just want to go for a walk. And being told that you can't is one of the hardest things ever. But so yeah, it's been a struggle. I've got a 15. He's only just turned 15. 15-year-old son and a husband at home, and we've had to try and entertain him as well. He's a massive karate, kickboxing guru. He's a black belt in both. So we've had to keep his training levels up as well. So my husband, like this evening, they've got a coaching session this evening via Zoom, and he will be being kicked all around the room, which will amuse me, to be honest, because it always does. But yeah, so we've had to keep his levels of training up as well. And we've done strange things, like we done something called, I had to do one of these for a school, and to be honest, my motivation was a little bit low that day, and I wanted to come up with something fun. So we done pair the socks. So we had loads of socks in a basket, and me and Rudy had a race pairing the socks and throwing them at a target that we'd made. So that was quite good fun, and that sort of broke the day up a little bit. So I think sometimes it's just about getting over every single day, because otherwise it just becomes a monotony, especially as lockdown eases a bit, and some of us can't come out of lockdown, obviously. I mean, I've got a mother that's in, she's shielding still, and obviously she's in a high bracketed shielding area, so she can't come out like normal. So we have morning briefings, which are quite good fun. So she may be behind glass, and we may be sat in the garden, me and my sister. It's obviously like 2 meters away from each other. But yeah, we do morning briefing, which is actually quite good fun, and make sure my mum's still sort of like enjoying stuff and everything and having fun. So I hope that answered your question, Stacey. Hi, Helen Bond. So the question is, it's telling me to see more, and there's not more there. Is the aim of your training purely to get to the Paralympics, or do you do shooting for any club, or just as... it won't give me the rest of the question. I do it for fun. I've always had the same philosophy throughout life. If you can't do something for fun, then you shouldn't be doing it, because we spend so many years of our lives doing either a job that you don't like, or a sport that you're not that keen on. So for me, I've always had the same philosophy. If I enjoy my work and I enjoy my job, then I'll enjoy my life. So I was a sports instructor at an outdoor activity centre, and for many years I helped run the centre, and then towards the later on, before my accident, I was pretty much running the centre. So yeah, so I think that you have to enjoy it. So I've always maintained that the day that I don't enjoy shooting is the day that I quit. So yes, I want to be a Paralympic champion, but I also do belong to a local club. I belong to Havant, because I live in Portsmouth, so I belong to Havant Club. And yeah, I shoot there alongside the old boys as well, which is quite good fun. Big up to Alan, I'm sure he's watching, because I shoot on a Saturday normally with Alan, and he's going to kill me for calling him one of the old boys, but he is. Yeah, so yeah, and Keith and all of those, and I love going along and listening to them. They've got so many stories about shooting, and you learn so much information. I also like giving back. Obviously, I'm doing this for you guys, but I really enjoy watching some of the young kids come through and having a go for the first time at shooting. And I've been into schools where they don't really do that type of thing. I've taken laser rifles in, and they've taken part in it, and they just think, wow. And to be honest, some of the kids that you think, no, you wouldn't, why would they want to be involved in doing something like that? And they absolutely love it, absolutely love it. And I've gone into many a school. Near me, we've got a particular school called Porchester Community School. And I went in there 2 years ago, and we'd done a sports awards evening, which I've just done a promo for them via Zoom, because they're having theirs via Zoom this year. And yeah, some of these children that were getting involved, they didn't. The helpers that were there were saying, we didn't think they'd actually like this, because it's not their cup of tea. I had a couple of autistic children that had a go, and they were so good so precise, and they really, really enjoyed it. And I've had schools where I've gone in there and gone back the following day and took the guns back, and they've had a whole session of shooting, which has been brilliant. So yeah, I enjoy shooting. I enjoy getting people into the sport, because I just think that you can do shooting at any age. There is no restrictions that I'm aware of, from whether you are an 8-year-old coming in through as a cadet. Like I myself came through as a cadet originally when I very first started shooting, and I took part in like lots of little competitions, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then as I ended up working in an activity centre, like I said, and from that moment I thought, actually, this is really cool. It's actually really nice to let people of any age have a go at this sport. And I still now, I go to, I've been to WIs, and I've got the SCAT unit, like I said, which basically attaches a laser to the end of the gun. So there's no live firing with it. It's like a laser that goes onto the end of the gun. And I've had people like in their 70s having a go, and they thought it was the first time I've ever picked up a gun. They were scared of it. Like I said to them, it's not going to hurt you, you know. It can sit there all day and it's not going to jump up and bite you. You know, it's just one of those things. But they've had a go and they thought, actually, this is really cool. And 2 of the members actually ended up joining the club, so which was quite nice. So I still get to see them now, which is brilliant. Right, okay, next question from Liz. What's been the most nerve-wracking moment of your career, and have you got any tips on managing nerves on big occasions? I do, yeah. So, my most nerve-wracking moment, if you can imagine, Rio was my very first games. They had no idea I was going to make the finals. So my key event, if you like, is kneeling, prone and standing. So then it was 20 shots in each. Now it's 40 because they've doubled it for some strange reason. So I'd done the kneeling, done the prone and done the standing phase of it, and made the final. And they had no idea I was going to make the final. They hadn't even geared up for me making a final. And my coach, honestly, was probably more nervous than me, so perhaps he should be doing this. But we were stood in front of these massive doors waiting to go into the final. Now, the finals means that there's 8 people that are the top 8 in the world that go into the final, and you shoot out in front of everyone. So I'll set the stage a little bit. You're stood in this like little corridor, and there's me and my coach stood next to each other, and Mike's saying to me, look left, the targets are to the left, the targets are to the left. I'm thinking, right, okay, look left, targets are to the left. Okay, so to the right is the audience. Now Rio, I don't know if anyone can remember this, but you could pay for a ticket for someone to go to the games even if you couldn't over here. They were only sort of like about a £5 to help sort of with the infrastructure and everything out there. And so I'd already made it right, look left is the targets. The targets are 50 metres away, you know where they are, they're over there. Look right is the crowd. Wow, day 5 I think it was, the tickets were given away for nothing to all the local school children. So there was 2,500 people watching my final. Look left is the target. I walked through these massive 8-foot doors, they were huge. I looked right and I cheered at the crowd, because I don't know if I'm ever going to be in that situation again. And that was nerve-wracking. But I managed to set myself down, settle down nice and calm, and shoot my match. I shot the kneeling, I was in second place. I shot the prone, I was still in second place. I'm like that, whew, this is good, not bad for your first Paralympics. That was my downfall. I shouldn't have thought about it, should have just carried on shooting. I got to the standing phase and I slowly slipped down the ranks. And even now, whenever I tell this story, I always apologise to anyone that was watching, including my husband, who wore a hole in our carpet at home, because obviously he didn't go out because of my son. Obviously the games were in September and he was just starting senior school. And yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking for him, probably more than me, because the internet froze. So I was still in second place at this point. So I was like, oh, yeah, I stood up, I shot the first shot, it was a good shot. The second shot, not such a good shot, and I slowly slipped down the ranks. I ended up in 5th. So that was probably the most nerve-wracking moment that I've ever had in my career so far. And doing things like this is nerve-wracking and really out of my comfort zone, to be honest, but I push myself to do them. So whether it is when the opportunity came up, I was talking to Catherine, and the opportunity came up to do this, I was like, oh, maybe not, I'll do you a video, because at least I can edit that. But then this, she said, I'd like a Q&A as well. I was like, okay. But I think it's going okay. So, so I just push myself to do things that take me a little bit out of my comfort zone. And that will help me and give me a bit of, I don't know, foresight into what the nerves are about. So I suppose my top tip would be prepared. So I've got a bit of paper here with questions on, just in case no one asks me anything. And these are questions that people normally ask me. I've had a couple that have come through on Messenger. So be prepared would be my number one top tip. Any situation, especially a big occasion, if you get a chance of going into, say you had to do, like me with Rio, I thought, well, I'm going to make the final. I'd already told myself I was going to make it. I thought, right, okay. I went into the finals hall before it all kicked off and thought, I'm going to shoot on that. And that sort of knowledge of knowing what it felt like to be in that room gave me a big boost. And I do it every single competition. I always go, oh, that's where the finals are going to be. So I'm going to be in there. And so I make finals and I know where I'm going to be. So I think top tip, be prepared and know where you're going. Give yourself I'd like to be there. And that would be it, I would say. Hi Helen. How many of you are in the team? So the full team, there are lots. Probably, so we've got like an academy, British Shooting Academy, and in the academy it runs across so that you've got Olympic and Paralympic. So if you're just thinking the Paralympic side of it, we've got an academy underneath. So in there we've got pistol and rifle shooters, and there's probably about 20. And then you move up, you've got the next layer of the academy, the top of the academy, and there's 3 in that. And then you've got the Paralympic team and the ones that should be picked for the next games, which there are 6 of us at the moment. So there's myself, Izzy, who's a pistol shooter. I think she might be doing something with you guys soon. There's Matt Skellen, Ryan Cockbill, Tim Jeffries, and James Bevis and myself. So that's the main team. So I hope that helps, Helen. Next question. Deb, have you been able to keep training during the lockdown? Wow. Yeah, I'm quite fortunate. A few years ago, I thought, not that I thought this was going to happen, but I needed a training facility at home that I could use. So we actually built a long shed. It's actually a ladder store. But I can't shoot live in it. I can only dry train in it. So it's like it clicks rather than goes pop with the air rifle. So that's like 15 metres long. So that's quite fortunate. It's only 15 metres by like a metre. So you can't exactly sway a cat in it or anything. And then I dry train with, they're called plastic bullets, but they look like this. So I can still shoot my 2.2. But rather than it making a big bang, because it's not a bullet, it's just literally is a piece of plastic that goes in to stop damaging the gun. So I put those in and that makes a click. So yeah, I can sort of train, but not to the standard that I would normally be training at. I'd normally do a week at home and a week at a camp. So I'm normally away in Wales, Germany, France, Wigan, Bisley. They're the locations that we've got. So yeah, I've been able to do a little bit of training. All right, Stacey, do you have any tips for keeping a steady hand when under pressure? I find when I'm nervous, my handshake, I don't know why this won't let me press see more, but yeah, it won't. Oh, yes, it can. Usually stood up in front of a large audience. Yeah, you know, it's steady hands. I suppose, like I said, it's about knowing the your process for me. So it's about the preparation that I use beforehand. So I know what my shot routine is. I know how the gun feels. I know what it's like to sit in front of people. I stand up in front of school children all the time doing talks. Probably like last year, I think I'd done about 33, something like that. Yeah, so I suppose for that, I always think that it's a good thing to push yourself a little bit. So whether it might not be that you want to stand up in front of thousands of people, but there's been situations that I've been in where I've thought I was going to a school to give a talk to 20 kids, and a couple of times this has happened to me now. I should sort of pre-warn myself a little bit with it, where I've turned up and they say, oh yeah, we've moved it to auditorium because there's 300. So yeah, that's a little bit nerve-wracking. So I just sort of like take a nice deep breath, and I use breathing a lot where it comes to keeping your hands steady. I use breathing a lot, so breathing techniques. I know you've got a bit of a breathing guru on your virtual village hall. I did watch one of his videos. Very good, very good. Yeah, I can't remember what his name was, but yeah, very good. I might be employing some of those. They're very, very good idea. But I use meditation a lot. My meditation teacher is Curvaceous Carla, and she's brilliant. She does yoga. I do yoga as well, but she does yoga and meditation. And to be honest, a Thursday evening we do yoga night, a Zoom call. And she's got people literally all over the world now. She's got people in Amsterdam doing this. It's crazy, but it's deep, relaxive, meditative yoga. But your breathing is everything. But a lot of people fall asleep. In fact, now it's almost become a bit of a slumber party, because at 8:30, a lot of people are in their PJs and they're laying on their beds, but they're on Zoom with Carla as well, and it's absolutely amazing what it does. Some people, like, we've got a nurse that's on there, and she very rarely sleeps very well, but on a Thursday, she said Thursday night, it's like she's knocked out. It's unbelievable. But yeah, so I use breathing a lot. I think it's amazing, very underestimated. Stacey, I'm glad you like the sock idea. It's brilliant, especially if you've got kids, because you can get them to help you pair the socks, which is an absolute nightmare. So yeah, so my pleasure for that one. It's always a good one. Liz, as well as your actual shooting practice, is there any other types of exercise that you have to be doing to keep fit for your sport? I think you mentioned weights. Yeah. Actually, I've normally got weights in here with me. But yeah, so yeah, I've got I do weights. So I do a bit of bench pressing. I do Olympic weightlifting with it. My physio's got me doing all sorts. Matt, he's brilliant, but we do all sorts. We play badminton. You know, like even if it's a day where I can't get my leg on, you know, we still play badminton. You know, like why wouldn't you? You know, yeah. So all sorts of things. So I go on a spin bike. I like cycling. In fact, we've done something over this lockdown. I've done something called the Lockdown Tokyo Challenge with the whole team. So I challenged the whole of British shooting. So that on the Olympic side as well, there's probably about 60 of us in total, maybe 70 including staff. And I challenged everyone. I was like, come on, let's raise some money for the NHS. You know, whether it goes to a wellbeing room for nurses, or whether it goes towards the mental health side of it for them. So, because this COVID thing, I mean, it's affecting everyone differently, including the nurses. I've got friends that are nurses, and I know how it's affected them. So we've done the Tokyo Challenge. So there's 8,200 miles by road from London to Tokyo, to the village in Tokyo. The village is the actual Paralympic village or Olympic village. I said, I reckon we can do that. 8,200, they all thought I was mad. They all thought I was start rating bonkers. But we done it. So the only caveat was it had to be done on Strava. You could push it. You could use an elliptical machine, you know, the ones that move your arms and legs at the same time. You could canoe it. You could row it. You could run, cycle, walk. What have we had? Swim. We had one of our guys do a swim with it. He done a 2.5 mile swim. But yeah, so all these different ways. So anyway, on the 14th of June at noon, because it was dead on 12 o'clock, we hit the distance plus, I think it was 17 miles. So we said that was like the equivalent of going around the village a couple of times. And then I got everyone together on a call and said, should we go back? You know, it's only 8,200 miles. I reckon we could do it before lockdown finishes. So we started that day, and so far up until yesterday evening, we've done 1,600 miles since noon on the 14th to yesterday, to the end of June. So that's an amazing thing. So it's all little challenges like that use for sort of keeping fit, keeping the whole team fit, keeping motivated. We were always jibbing each other on Strava, and we put stuff out on social media and all these things. So it's been a real good fun effort by everyone, which is brilliant. Okay, what is the best question? This is Helen again. What is the best question you get asked by school children you give talks to? Our kids are amazing. Some of them are absolutely amazing. Some of them are so insightful, and some of them are so random. So I often get asked, if I kick you in the leg, will it hurt? Obviously no, which is quite a random one to get asked. And then you get other ones that say, what's it like being an amputee? So yeah, you get some really good questions by kids. They're amazing. I think I had one a couple of weeks ago, in like a lockdown Zoom for a school, and they asked about with Tokyo being, so I've got it in front of me here, with Tokyo being moved, what's it like? The first thing, we were all devastated, to be honest. I was like that. I've trained for 4 years to go to the Paralympics in Tokyo, and it's cancelled. And then I thought, hang on, let's reframe this. It's not cancelled, it's postponed. It's not postponed, it's given me another year to get better. So by changing my terms of reference of how I looked at it, I sort of got through it, and it's been, I'll just keep looking at, it's going to be another year's worth of training under my belt, and my air rifles come right up. My scores are awesome at the minute, and I don't mind saying that. And yeah, so I just think it's an amazing time now to get better, and then next year we're just going to go out there and smash it. So I know the whole team feel the same as well. Right, okay, Deb. When shooting outdoors, do you have to take into account the weather? I don't mean just rain, i.e. wind, heat. Does it affect your aim? Hope that makes sense. Yeah, it does make perfect sense. Yeah. Do you know something? Rain doesn't really affect it. It's weird. I was out in, I've got sort of proof of this almost. I was out in America in 2017, and we were in Georgia, and it had the absolute downpour. And just before the downpour, the downpour sort of like got gradually worse, just before they called a halt and said, actually, we're going to have to stop and we'll start again. The rain wasn't affecting it at all. It was unbelievable. But they had to, in the end, the deluge that it was just, it just flooded the place. They had to put the targets down, and we had to shut all the doors. So yeah, wind is a massive factor in it, because the windier it is, obviously, it moves the bullet. There's my little plastic bullet. So as you can imagine, as this comes out the gun, it does this, so it spirals. and the wind hitting it can move it. So what you would be aiming at something like this, it will move it over here or over here. So yeah, wind is a massive thing, and heat, because you've got mirage. So where you're looking, you've all looked at a road and you can see that like haze just above it. You get that and it moves the aiming mark. So you might think that you're aiming here and you're actually aiming here because it's moved it there. So yeah, there's so many factors when you're shooting outdoors. It's just unbelievable to be taken into consideration. Yeah, it's just one of those things. So it's not just rain, it's wind, it's heat. Not only that, you get hot. I mean, I've been in my little shed. Like I said, it's not very big. Can't swing a cat in it. Not that I've tried. I don't think my cat, Sparky, would like it. But yeah, it's just the heat we've had recently, especially on the south coast here. We've been up to 27 degrees. It's been 37 degrees in there. So it's a trifle warm. And my kit, you would have saw from the video, is made of leather. So it's like double ply leather and canvas. So it's quite hot and heavy. So yeah, as you can imagine, it's not the most comfortable thing to be in. So yeah, so all those things get taken into consideration with it all. Okay, Catherine, looking forward to watching you compete next year. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. The whole team are champing at the bit, to be honest. We just can't wait. It's just we just keep thinking between now and then. Like this year, we should have had so many competitions before we went. So we were due to go to actually we were told that we couldn't go to the UAE on, I can't remember, it was like a week before or 2 weeks before lockdown. And the week before lockdown, we decided we were going to go to Cardiff, and literally we locked down as soon as I got back home from Cardiff. So it was like they knew. It's like Duncan had some sort of sixth sense that knew we were going to get locked down the week after. So yeah, so we so like I said, we go to the UAE, so that will be next year now. So that'd be a nice one to go to and look forward to. We should have been in Novi Sad next week. So yeah, in Serbia, which would have been a lovely competition. It's a very old range to shoot on. I've never shot there. Young Izzy's shot there before. She said it's fantastic and I'd really enjoy it. So I'll take her, she's normally one of my roomies. Yeah, so I'll take that into consideration, that she thinks I'd like it there. So yeah, so we've got that one. Peru, we should have been in Peru this year. That's obviously in Lima, so that's going to be moved to next year because that's the last time for a qualifying slot for the games. So if you don't know, what happens is, as an athlete, we go and we go out there and we win quota places. So we win slots, but the slots are won for the country in our events. So hopefully I'll get picked for my slot, and all my friends will get picked for their slots. But it might not, it's just the way it goes. But fingers crossed that I'll be on top of my game. I still am at the minute, so it's all looking good. Deb, what do you think competitions will restart, especially when held outdoors? Well, we don't know. I've been on many a call with many a doctor within EIS, English Institute of Sport, and we've been told many a different things. So at the moment, we still can't train. So we still can't train as a team. When we do go back to training, we go back to training in bubbles. So there'll only be sort of 3 of us in a range at a time, and it will be an outdoor range. So yeah, so at the moment we have no idea of when, when everything's going to kick off really for us, especially the competition side of it. I can't wait to go away again and compete with my friends, and because I know so many people across the Paralympic world. It's just amazing. And like the other night, I had a Zoom call with one of them in America, and she said, I haven't even got my kit with me. They've been closed. She lives in, she trains at the in where does she train? In the OCT. And so it's the Olympic Training Centre, and she trains there, and she was just told to go home. She didn't take her kit with her because it's a long drive to Idaho, and she's got no kit with her, so they're sort of like making do. I think she's made one out of wood or something. I'm not quite sure, didn't quite go into it with her, but yeah, she's having a chat about everything else. So yeah, I hope that sort of answers your question. Like I said, I don't really know when they're going to restart. Hopefully next year, at the beginning of next year. We do have plans for a competition in November, but I can't really see it happening. There is one due in Thailand, but I definitely don't think that's going to happen for us. Hi Ellen, what's your happiest memory of competing? Wow, I've got so. I don't know. Just said that I had to reconnect. It's done it. I've got so many. So my happiest one was my very first ever individual gold, which was in Dubai. I beat the 2011 in Dubai, and I beat the champion. He actually ended up winning gold in London in 2012, so it sort of like gave him a kick up the bum, I think. I did actually get told as I was stood on the podium, he was told, he got silver, don't let that happen again. And afterwards he told me that was because he got beaten by a woman. But anyway, that's Dubai for you. One of my most ever challenging competitions. Wow. It's probably when I won that. So this is the USA Challenge Championships. It's their national championships in 2017. It's when the deluge happened. At the time, my uncle was over here very, very ill, and I had to make a decision to whether to go out and compete or not. And my mum said to me, look, there's nothing you can do, go out there and compete. And so I had that in the back of my mind. Unfortunately, my uncle passed away while I was out there competing. But I won the medal, that medal 2 days before he died. And that was when all the deluge and all the water and just unbelievable. So that was pretty challenging for me. I wanted to be back here with my mum because her brother, and I couldn't be. But I knew that my mum wanted me to go and my sister was back here. So yeah, so that was probably the toughest one from a mental challenge point of view, because I had to still stay switched on and that. And as it was, I didn't like it much as well, because I actually came home with 2 of their nice shiny gold medals, and obviously they're Americans, so they're always a bit bigger than ours. That's the one from Aussie last year, but they like to be a bit bigger. But yeah. All right, okay, we've got a weird question. I like weird questions, so. Hey, weird question, hope it makes sense. As a massive fan of the Olympics and Paralympics, especially the Winter Olympics, I'm wondering, as a society is striving for more and more equality for people, do you ever, let's move down. Do you ever see a time when both games are merged? As would you prefer there to always be 2 separate sets of games? Obviously, not putting someone on blades against Usain Bolt in the top of the hundreds. Yeah, he didn't like that, did they? But just one whole event rather than closing the main Olympics. I think they could, to a certain extent, but as Paralympic sport, we've got lots of classifications. So, so even within shooting, you've got, obviously you've got pistol and rifle, 2 completely different events. But in rifle, you've got SH1 and SH2. And SH2 is someone with that can't use an arm. I've either got an arm missing, or they just can't use one arm. So they use a Belgium spring. So it's like a piece of metal on a spring, and they have different thicknesses and strengths of the spring to shoot against each other. So I think you could, in one sense, get it all. It would be nice, I'd love to shoot. I mean, my particular event, I'm an SH1. I'm an SH1A back, which means I don't have a backrest. I'm freestanding, so I'd like to shoot against able-bodied people. I really can't see that happening in some of the competitions nationally, let alone in the Paralympics, sort of ever being that. So it would be nice if it was, even if it wasn't, like you say, like one big event, that they didn't actually close it. So they opened it as the Paralympics and Olympics and closed it as the Paralympic Olympics. But then we use the same village as the Olympic lot. So it's nice to be at an opening ceremony and a closing ceremony. Obviously shooting, a lot of people don't know this, but shooting traditionally it's the first sport of the games. So you are you're on first. So I wouldn't go to, like, I didn't go to the opening ceremony of Rio, which was really hard pill to swallow, to be honest. Everyone else was going out partying, and our whole block went out and partied, and I couldn't, so because I was on first. But it was good fun, and I was up at 5:30 in the morning. So I'll show you a picture of what the Olympic and Paralympic village looked like. So 5:30 in the morning, that's what the Paralympic village looked like. Dead quiet. And that was me. I took that photo just to see what, that was my very first time, because the day that was taken, obviously at 5:30 in the morning, I wasn't a Paralympian. But the next day, or actually after I'd shot my match, I was a Paralympian. It's something that can never be taken away from you. So so amazing time. Not only that, around the village they put up things like this. So that's day one. You can see that's me on the top corner shooting. That's me. I look quite menacing in that photo. It's actually quite funny. So it was an absolutely amazing thing to go to. So that's this here is what I said. You got 2,500 people looking at you. So I took that when obviously when I was there before it all started. So yeah, it's an amazing event to go to. If ever you get a chance to go to a Paralympics, I would definitely recommend you go and watch. So these are some of my friends. You can see, obviously, Hannah, Ali, which is there, who doesn't actually look like that at the moment. He's got a horrible beard, but I won't tell him that. Obviously, you can see different people in there. World's tallest man, who actually plays sitting volleyball. He plays sitting volleyball, believe it or not, for I think it's Iran. And he's massive. He's a massive guy. Anyway, so I'll give you a couple more photos. So you can see a menacing photo of me. There you go. That's the menacing photo, and that would be one of my top tips. There, it's used on a poster. As you can see, what it says. Leave no stone unturned. Plan and preparation is everything, and that is probably one of my toppest tips for everyone. And everyone always asks, what's it look like in a food hall? There you go. You've got that at the top. There is the size of 4 aircraft hangars, and that is where all the food's prepared for a village. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Anyway, I've quite enjoyed doing it. I was nervous. Going back to the question earlier, just keep doing things that make you nervous. And what's that, Matt? Awesome answers, thank you. My sister-in-law was a helper, whatever you were called, in 2012. Very jealous. Yeah, they were. Was she one of the foam hand people? Oh, they were amazing. I went up and watched my friends shoot, and they were amazing. I mean, I went up from Portsmouth via train, and I didn't know where I was going, where the barracks are or anything. But there's these people spinning foam hands and all sorts. They've done an amazing job. Anyone that helped out at any of them. What's the range on your rifle? Alright, rocked up. No, I've never rocked up in a ghillie suit for a competition. They would laugh at me. It would be fun, but they would laugh at me. My 2.2, obviously I shoot at 50 metres, but a bullet would travel a mile, actually over a mile, which is why you've got a drop zone behind them when you shoot, or in this country we use backing plates, so they smash. So it's only a little tiny piece of lead, because you don't want to hurt anyone, obviously. I'm glad that you've all enjoyed it. Anyway, I hope that answered your question, Matt. I look forward to, if ever I get a chance to do this again. You all take care. Do my sock challenge with the kids, because it's amazing. You get all your socks paired up, all your grandchildren. And look forward to speaking to you all again at some point. You take care. See you later. Bye.